it should always start with the developer. We can talk about location and amenities all we want, but none of it means anything if you don't have the right brand to build this and to put it together and bring it to life.
Introducing Prime Condos, a new development coming to the heart of Toronto's East Core, located at the intersection of Dundas and Jarvis. Prime Condos offer a prime location with a prime lifestyle. Living at Prime Condos means you'll be stepped away from Yonge and Dundas Square, Toronto's most iconic and dynamic intersections. Why does Prime's location matter? It's easy. Dundas and Jarvis is where the smart money is. Investors know what this area has to offer, from Google's 400,000 square foot downtown office to the new $11 billion investment in the Ontario Line subway station and the St. Michael's Hospital $300 million redevelopment project, all only minutes away from this condo project. Let's be real, there's no exodus. The Prime neighborhood is expected to see its population go from 250,000 to 475,000 people by 2041. That's almost a 50% increase in population growth. Toronto is a region that has the biggest tech talent and is known across North America as having the second largest financial center, third largest tech center, and the fourth largest city. There couldn't be a better time to invest in the city of Toronto, where the growth plan forecasts 3.4 million people and 1.72 million jobs by 2041. Toronto has over 1.5 million workers and over 500,000 of them are located in downtown core alone. The city is home to over 240,000 tech workers, which has seen an increase of 52% over the past 5 years. Investors should know that although we're still facing a pandemic, Canada hasn't changed their commitment to bringing over 1.2 million immigrants to Canada over the next 3 years. And even with the boom in the suburban living, Toronto continues to be the top destination of choice for immigrants. The vast majority of immigrants choose Toronto because they know this is where the jobs are. There really couldn't be a better time to invest, where the price gap between condos and detached homes is the largest that has ever been in 2021. And what we know from history is that when this happens, the price of new condos increases dramatically. You simply cannot beat this location, where everything important is truly only minutes away. From Ryerson University to the Discovery District, to the hub of Toronto's tech sector and major hospitals that are just a short walk or a quick bike ride away. And getting around couldn't be any easier. This makes Prime one of the best connected condo projects in the city. Investors will find value and a strong rental demand at Prime Condos. Ryerson University is only minutes away and serves as a strong home base of over 47,000 students, of which only 2.6% can live on campus. Now, in terms of the project itself, Prime Condos is proposed to be 45 stories tall with 575 residential units ranging from studio to 2-bedroom suites. This condo project is being developed and built by CentreCourt, an experienced developer of condominiums, creating well-thought-out high-rises in some of Toronto's core areas. Hang on, because in a few moments, we'll be sitting down with VP of Sales and Marketing, Jason Lamb, who will walk us through some of the exciting things Prime Condos has to offer. It's great to see you again, Jason. Thank you again for having us. And in such a, I think in less than 2-3 months, we're meeting again for another amazing project. So before we talk about the next project, I want to congratulate you for 8 Wellesley. Huge success. Congratulations.
Congratulate us. We did this together. It's always nice to see you, Bridget, and always nice to catch up. And when we do catch up, it's a good sign because it means that we're about to launch another exciting project.
Another exciting project, Prime Condos, and that's why we're here. So for our viewers, I know we talked about this in the past, who CentreCourt is, but can you tell us a little bit more of how CentreCourt started, how long they've been in the industry, what you guys have built throughout the GTA?
I can go on for a long time, so I'm going to try and keep this rather short. So, CentreCourt is a company that was brought together by Andrew Hoffman and Shemez Varani and Stephen Balgue, and it's a company that is not a family company. It's treated as a business. It's treated as if it's a tech company, investment banking company. So it's all about efficiencies. It's all about having the right answers. It's all about being transparent and having core principles in doing what we do. And they've really brought that spirit to life over the last decade. 17, 18, 19 launches in that time frame, which is unprecedented, right? Most builders will have had 3 or 4 projects in that time frame. So we're ultra active, and because you're ultra active, you learn a lot. That's where you're gonna learn. So throughout the last decade, we've actually brought a lot of the verticals in-house. So we're a fully vertically integrated organization, meaning that sales and marketing, construction, customer care, acquisitions, development, all these pillars that when they come together, sort of assembled, is the development process. And that's where we're actually able to perform our best, when we're all in one roof, we're all thinking together, collaborating. For us, great locations, again, follow our portfolio, always focus on transit, employment, infrastructure. Those are key elements into locations that I think all of your viewers are going to value. The ability to execute, meaning no canceled projects, always zoned, 0 days of interim occupancy, well ahead or on time when it comes to construction scheduling. These are elements that all of the viewers and yourself as a high-performing platinum agent, that's the type of developer you want to align with, is trust, execution.
Before we talk about prime, which prime is in a prime location with a prime lifestyle.
I see what you did there. Yeah, I caught on.
I want to actually touch a little bit about the market, because the market, as we all know, it's hot. I mean, there's tons of demand. How do you feel that the market's going to keep going throughout the 2021? There's a lot of discussion about a bubble. There's a lot of discussion about pricing is overpriced. How do you feel that it's going to go through in 2021?
Well, I think when people are talking about product that's really expensive, they're referring to low-rise in particular, right? They're looking at the detached, semi-detached townhouse marketplace. And look, there's not a lot of supply. And when you've got a number of people, like we've got a very healthy population in the GTA. So when you have just a fraction of that population say, I want to move, and I'm working through the pandemic, I'm not spending any money, I want more space, interest rates are low, obviously I'm leveraging 80%, just a small percentile of that population that goes outside is gonna have a massive ripple effect in the surrounding communities. And that's where you're seeing this sort of balloon in price points. It doesn't take much. And I would say that as long as interest rates remain low and supply remains low like it is, it's not gonna change. Now, when you look at condominium as another sector, you're starting to see that rise, that catching up, that excitement because of the price points associated in the low-rise market. So I think the low-rise market is in a almost too healthy state. It is an emotional purchase, right? It's not necessarily an investment. So those decisions that lead people to buy these homes at the prices, it's not the same mentality as someone that's going to buy prime. That's looking at an opportunity to park cash, to make money, to rent it out. So I think in condominiums, the beauty is that you're going to see that pendulum. I think you're going to see the pendulum shift back to condos where there's a lot of room to grow. The rental market is a good example. You've talked to a lot of realtors today, and I've talked to a number of them, and they're telling me saying, I've literally rented 3, 4, 5, 6 condominiums to someone that just landed in Toronto. That's a new immigrant that landed 2 weeks ago. Again, if you ask yourself, where else are those people gonna go, right? If you don't know anything about Toronto, or you know very little, and you get off of a plane, you're not necessarily exposed to what Etobicoke is, or Markham, or Scarborough, or Richmond Hill. You don't know these submarkets. You see the CN Tower, you see where jobs are, you see where retail is, you see where lifestyle is, and most importantly, you see where public transportation is. That's where you're gonna gravitate towards to just get your bearings straight. And that's no different with tourism, right? And so I see a big pickup in the market. I see a lot of activity. I think you bottomed out in December in terms of condos. And January, February, definitely March, you're gonna see continued ramping up in terms of price appreciation and transactions. And it's hard to predict, but I feel confident that the condo market in particular is just getting started.
So Prime Condos is right in the center of Toronto, downtown core. And what we're seeing in the market is a lot of people are buying out.
Yeah.
They're going up north. What would you say to those investors that are still considering of purchasing outside of Toronto and now are maybe rethinking based on everything that you touched, based on employment, transportation, population, that everybody, especially the government who has actually promised to bring 1.2 million immigrants into Canada for the next 3 years, what would you say to those investors who are considering and investing in downtown core today?
Well, let's look at the landscape. If you want to buy a pre-construction project today right now, you're left with a lot of 905 options. Right? Like there's very limited 416. There's the odd inventory that you're able to sell, but all the new launches that you're seeing that have taken place or are about to take place are 905. There's a ton of land that surround downtown Toronto, and it's almost limitless, right? Like you've got, parcel after parcel, mega project, master plan community after another. So those opportunities are always going to be there. But what I'm seeing now is you're seeing really strong price appreciation. Because the low-rise market that surrounds the GTA has increased so much in price, downtown is looking like value. Like it doesn't have the same gap that it used to have. And the same thing is taking place in condominiums. When you look at, Mimico, VMC, Markham, and they're all over $1,000 a foot. They're $1,100 in some cases, $1,200 in some cases. Suddenly downtown Toronto looks like, wow, like that gap has really shrunk. But what does downtown Toronto have that these communities don't? And it all comes down to public transportation, employment opportunities, convenience, lifestyle, tourism, those elements, institution, those are the things that it really doesn't matter what market you're in, doesn't matter what economic condition you're in. Those are the, minus a very small part of being in the pandemic, the demand there is always going to rise to the top. So the value in the downtown core today has never been more apparent relative to the surrounding area. And that doesn't mean that these surrounding areas aren't good locations, that they're bad buys. No, that's not the case at all. But in the case of Prime, as an investor, Prime has something that no other site has. It doesn't matter where you go that's in the market today. It doesn't matter. Prime has something across the street that I call the insurance policy if you're an investor. There's nothing in 905 that has what we have, in the sense where across the street you've got 47,000 students that have virtually no beds to stay on campus. That there's a huge international student population that are not from here and their parents pay for everything. You've got this opportunity of a regenerating rental pool automatically from day one. The minute you sign the contract, the minute you close, you have this monstrous sense of assurity of this institution of Ryerson that's literally outside your door. There's not a single condominium project as an investment that will give you that. Now you pair that up with being 10 minutes to Yonge Street, 10 minutes to 2 subway lines, 15 minutes to the financial district, 15 minutes to the University Health Network, and so on and so forth. Why would you buy anything else? The idea of buying a piece of real estate is casting the widest net so that you have the best control of your renter. Highest yields, best, most qualified individual. A lot of these communities, you kind of isolate yourself down to, the net gets smaller, the funnel gets smaller, and when you're downtown, usually the funnel gets bigger. So that's why I see there's so much potential for Prime, is you've got this insurance policy in Ryerson, but the beautiful part is that the downtown East Core has barely reached its potential, right? It's really just getting started, and that's Church, that's Jarvis, that's Sherbourne, that's Parliament. Why? It's so obvious, right? Because when you go west of Yonge, you've got powerhouses in Bay Street and University. And how often do you see sites on those streets? Never. So everyone's going east. That's where the value is, because the price certainly is not the same, but the distance to Yonge is the same. So follow the smart money, just like all the other developers are doing. They're all going east. This is our 5th, 6th, 7th building. No one knows the East Core better than CentreCourt. So that's why we're so excited about Prime.
So from experience, we know that the #1 amenity for anybody is transit.
It is.
So with Prime being so close to transit, we know that the new Ontario line is just down the corner.
Yes.
How does this add value to Prime?
Well, think about it. How often do you get something of that magnitude? Like it's almost once in a lifetime. Tens of billions of dollars invested in this, and provided that this does take place, this is groundbreaking. This is game-changing, because this isn't just one stop. This is a full extension. It's a massive relief line that runs underground that gives people access to Church and Yonge, Queen and Yonge, but more importantly, it gives us access from Jarvis to the rest of the city. But the funny thing about public transportation and Prime in particular, and this is going to be very ironic, is the beauty about Prime is that you may be 10 minutes to 2 subways, 3 subway stations, but it's locations like Prime where you don't even need the subway. Everything's walkable. Everything's bikeable. So it's almost like a flex. Like I have it, but I don't really need it. And I think you're able to cater to such a massive demographic, like I said, casting the widest net. So I think the Ontario line is pivotal. I think it's going to change the fabric of downtown, especially to the east, and it connects us to these communities that we're otherwise not connected to today. So that's just more opportunities.
Now for Prime, you gave us a little bit of information of renderings, how tall the building is going to be, how many units, but not too much information on amenities. What can you tell us about the amenities that Prime is going to have?
Well, I think what we've done over the last year or so, and the amenity programming hasn't changed much when we first, thought this building through. And the reason why that is this being our 5th, 6th building in the East Core, is we know what's of high use. We know what residents and end users like, what's functional, what's practical. If you're going to pay maintenance fees, you should be paying maintenance fees towards common elements that are useful to you, that mean something to you. Understanding the demographic of who's living here, young professionals, medical students, students as a whole, people that really are in and out, very dynamic lifestyles, and people in tech. So, what we did is we created, the #1 thing when you're doing showings, when the first impression is lobby, right? You've got a very elegant lobby, very mature. You wouldn't, this is a true downtown AAA location, AAA lobby that sets the tone for you to what to expect for the rest of the building. You walk a client through a really unique gym space. This is 6,500 square feet. This is 6 times bigger than what I live in, right? This is a substantial space. That is jaw-dropping. On the other side of the amenities is outdoor space, right? Again, going into this sort of new normal, and people want and desire to be outdoors and to entertain and get some space. But the last thing is a shared co-working space that I think really fits the neighborhood. It's a lounge, it's entertainment, it's collaboration. Again, your condominium is not your limitation, right? You've got all these amenities that are practical that you can use, and I think where people are working from home, this is going to be vital.
Now, one of the biggest reasons why 8 Wellesley was such a huge success is because of your floor plans. Your floor plans are open concept, no waste of space, yes. Great layout. What are we going to be seeing at Prime?
Perfect for investors, perfect for the neighborhood. Couldn't have matched and paired up this building better than the area that we're in, and just like minimizing cost from a carrying standpoint, maintenance fees. But more than anything, we're going to be giving you a very, very attractive end prices that rival 905. The end price is going to be the best value. You know how I feel about price per square foot, because it's a function of size, right? We're going to have way more efficient, smaller sizes than you're going to see anywhere else in the city. So rather than wrap your head around price per square foot, the focus is end price. It always has been, always will be. In the resale market, we look at, what's the actual price that I'm getting a mortgage on, the real value. And I can tell you that, the studios will be in the 4s, high 4s, junior 1-bedrooms will be in the 5s, 1-bedrooms are in the 6s, 1+ dens in the 7s, 2-bedrooms in the 7s and the 8s, all of which are super, super efficient, tight spaces, but ultra efficient and practical. And like I said, it's going to be the best value in the downtown core. And again, because these launches happen so infrequently, every time the next launch comes, it's 3, 6, 8, 9, 12 months. The market turns so fast that the pricing is on a different planet by the time the next launch comes around.
Now, lastly, as you know, we always ask this question: when is Prime going to be launching, and how can someone get access?
Two very easy questions I can answer. So you're going to see Prime enter the market in mid to late April, which is literally just around the corner. We're talking weeks. Finally, right, after so many years of talking about Prime. And you're going to contact Bridget, David, the entire team at GTA Homes to learn more, to educate yourself, to find out what the merits are for pre-construction, and why CentreCourt is sort of at the top of the industry, and why Prime makes a lot of sense, whether you're a first-time investor, a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, it doesn't matter. This is as good as it gets.
And there you have it. We just heard the amazing news about Prime Condos from Jason Lamb. There's no doubt that 2021 is a great time to start investing. Our low condo vacancy rates, stable price appreciation, strong employment, and population growth are going to give you the best return on your investment. Make sure to get in touch with a GTA Homes planning agent today to get priority access to this spectacular new condo project. I'm Bridget Obregon, and this has been another GTA Homes exclusive.